Mr. Sepulveda, would you please turn your mic on when you answer. You have not provided us with any written testimony today. Do you wish to make an opening statement?
With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, on the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional privilege.
Which is the privilege not to incriminate yourself by answering. Is that correct?
It's a privilege to remain silent, sir.
Okay. It is our understanding from your counsel that you may assert that constitutional privilege, and you have. Mr. Sepulveda, today's hearing will address the planning and execution of 2 Department of Veterans Affairs conferences held in Orlando, Florida in 2011. As the Assistant Secretary of Human Resources and Administration during the period in question, you played a lead role in the conference planning process. You were uniquely qualified to assist the committee in the investigation into the waste that may have occurred at this event. Your name appears in more than 80 times in the Inspector General's report on the conferences. So I must ask you to consider answering the committee's questions, and I'm going to ask you a few right now to see if you'll answer any questions. Mr. Sepulveda, you are no longer an employee of the VA. Is that correct?
On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional privilege.
Mr. Sepulveda, when did you resign from the VA?
Again, on the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional privilege.
Mr. Sepulveda, are you currently receiving full retirement benefits?
On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional right.
Mr. Sepulveda, there was an article in the Federal Times on October 1st, 2012 that discussed the conferences that we are here to talk about today. The article contained a statement attributed to you. The statement addressed your resignation from the Veterans Administration. The statement was, quote, "I resigned because I did not want to be a distraction to the administration, comma, Secretary Sebelius. Shinseki, and the VA, especially as they continue to work each day to address the urgent needs of our nation's veterans." Mr. Sepulveda, why did you resign from the Veterans Administration?
On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional right.
Mr. Sepulveda, is that statement attributed to you, in fact, your statement?
Again, on the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional privilege.
Mr. Sepulveda, I am disappointed that you are not willing to give a statement apparently to the Federal Times about your resignation, but you won't do so here today. Additionally, Mr. Sepulveda, when the OIG investigators asked you whether you had viewed the patent video parody before it was shown publicly, you answered no. Is that correct?
On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional privilege.
Well, Mr. Sepulveda, I have many more questions on this list, but it appears as though you will answer no additional questions. Is there any question I can ask you today that is germane to our discovery that you are willing to answer?
On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based on my Fifth Amendment constitutional privilege.
Okay. In that case, I won't say you're excused. You're dismissed.